And in the Impact segment tonight, polling's all over the place between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. New Monmouth poll out today has Secretary Clinton up by 7 points, but this goes day to day, up and down. Joining us now from his headquarters here in New York City is Donald Trump. So where do you think you are in the race? I don't know if you guys are doing internal polling yet, but do you think you're ahead, behind, tied? Where are you?
I think it's very close. I think that probably one poll came out, I'm pretty much even. I just don't know. It's very early to have polling. I think we haven't even gotten started yet. You know, I'm just literally just starting, and I view the convention as probably a real starting point. But I think it's pretty even from what I'm seeing. Okay.
Now, you're taking some incoming from the insinuation that Barack Obama may be sympathetic to Muslim terrorists. We talked about this a little recently on this program. I don't think you believe that he's a quisling, that he's someone who wants Islamic terrorism to prosper. You don't believe that, do you?
I don't believe it. I do say, though, when I see a deal like was made with Iran, this horrible, horrible deal where we're giving them back $150 billion, to the best of my knowledge, and I tell you what, I've studied that thing pretty closely, we're getting almost nothing out of it. They're going to end up with their nuclear weapons and lots of other things, whatever they want. And then I see the way he treats Israel, I say, wow, there seems to be a double standard. I'm not happy about it. A lot of other people aren't happy about it. I can tell you the people in Israel are not happy about it. So I look at things and I see what's going on, and I'm a common sense person, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
Well, the Iranian deal's geopolitics, and he believes that he's going to keep Iran from getting the nuclear device, but we'll see down the road. But your insinuation after Orlando was a little bit more personal than that. And remember the background, because you were a birther guy, you didn't believe or you questioned his birth certificate, where he was born, and now you're saying in so many words, and I don't want to put words in your mouth so you can clarify, that look, there's something more here than just President Obama seeing the world in a non-confrontational way. There might be a personal agent here. Is that on your mind?
Well, it bothers me when he's afraid or doesn't want to mention the words radical Islamic terrorism, when obviously
But he says it doesn't do any good to do that. It doesn't influence his policy.
With him. I disagree with him. And then they redact a lot of the different statements made by this thug, this horrible guy that killed all of those people, and it's a disgraceful thing. So I disagree. You know, if you have a problem, you have to be able to speak openly about the problem. This is a problem. This is a real problem. This is a worldwide situation.
And that's the difference between you and not only President Obama, but Hillary Clinton, who's, you brought her a little bit more. But you're kind of dodging my question, and you don't usually do that. Do you believe there's a personal component inside the president's personality that sympathizes with the Muslim world and doesn't want to taint the Muslim world with terrorism? Is that what it's about?
I don't believe anything. I see things, and whether it's the Iran deal, whether it's not wanting to mention the words radical Islam or radical Islamic terrorism or other things, Bill, you look at what's going on. I mean, it's not a question of what I think. But you look at facts. This isn't thinking. This is facts. And,
I know, but you go to motive.
And I really believe this, Bill. I really believe it. No, I have no motive. I don't care.
Not your motive. I'm talking about his motive.
If he were a great, let me tell you something. If he were a great president, a great president, and that's not going to happen, I would be so thrilled. If our real employment was at 5% or 4% or 3%, I would be so thrilled. But it's not. Our country is in a horrible position in so many ways, whether it's manufacturing, which is just fleeing. Our companies are fleeing our country with jobs. You look at what's going on with this country, it's really sad.
All right.
And
so
then you have what happened. Well, wait, Bill. I look at what he does, and I look at what he says, and I look at what he doesn't say. Why isn't he willing? How do you solve a problem if you're unwilling to discuss it or unwilling to name it?
Okay, now, he says that it doesn't have anything to do. He'll drop the drones on him. He'll do what he has to do. But, okay, Motive is always hard.
Well, you're always complaining. Hey, Bill, 1 second. You're always complaining he's not strong enough, he's not going in, he's
yes,
not
that's
eradicating a problem which is always getting worse.
That's
so,
my opinion.
drones are one thing, but drones are not going to solve the problem.
And
okay?
I agree
drones
with that. I've been very tough on him, as you have, in this arena.
Yeah, well, a lot
but
of
I'm trying
other people,
to figure out,
other people agree with us.
and I may have a report coming up Thursday that might shed a little light on this, but we're still working it. Now, you and gun control, all right? Let's run down the list. They got to tighten up the terror watch vis-a-vis buying gun list, right? That's got to happen, right?
Yes, sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Right.
Who would not agree with that?
And I think the NRA would agree with it, too. But we have to have a very precise thing about if you're on a terror watch list, this is what you can and can't do. What about the big guns, all right? Do people need the big rifles that fire a lot of rounds? Do they need them?
Well, the big guns, first of all, are the same guns that the enemy has and that people that can break into your home or do what this maniac did over the weekend. And the big guns are the same guns. I mean, you're going to have that.
Okay.
So
you
use them for many other reasons.
self-protection.
They use them. They also use them for recreation, Bill. I have friends that are, my sons are in the NRA, so am I. People use them for recreation.
Right,
they
you
use
have
them
no
for
problem
a lot of other
then.
reasons.
Would you put any limits on, you can't have a mortar, can't have hand grenades, can't have a bazooka.
Right.
Would you put any limits on what you can and can't buy?
On the guns, I wouldn't, because again, it's a question of protection, and also once you start, where do you end? Where do you end?
Slippery slope.
No, I wouldn't. I get along very well with the NRA on most of these subjects. I think probably the one is that when you're on a terror watch list, perhaps in a certain sense, my stance is tougher than anybody. But when you're on a terror watch list, you're on. You don't get a gun.
Yeah, they just have to have rules because there are mistakes and things like that. Okay.
No, they're right. There are mistakes. And by the way, there are many, many mistakes on those watch lists. And what I would do, frankly, is work hard to eradicate the mistakes, to make sure that these people get off the list as soon as possible.
But Congress is going to have to pass a law that has exact wording. All right, now, what about you buy a big rifle, all right? You buy, for whatever reason. Should you have to register that so the FBI knows the serial number, knows you have it in your house? Should you have to do that?
Well, right now, if you look at the real rules, regulations, and laws right now, you have pretty good laws in terms of registration. I was actually surprised to see it. I saw it 2-3 weeks ago where they show me laws. I mean, if we obey the laws that are already in existence, if we follow those laws already in existence,
okay, but theoretically,
you have pretty good rights.
Do there are a lot of gun advocates, and including the NRA in this region, they don't want the government to know what they're holding because they think the government down the line is going to seize their guns. So theoretically, is it okay with you if the FBI knows?
I think that, frankly, I've stayed, and I really feel very strongly. I was very honored to get the endorsement of the NRA, the earliest endorsement they've ever given. I'm pretty sure, the earliest endorsement they've ever given to a presidential candidate. I have stayed with what they have been saying. And I'll tell you why, Bill. These people, Wayne and Chris, I think they get a bad rap. They are great Americans. They love our country. This is what they do. They really want what's good, I think, more than anything else for our country. And I have stayed very much with what they do.
Okay.
Having to do with the watch list, I would like to meet with them. I think we're going to meet, actually. I think something is set up or will be set up.
There's not big opposition to that.
Because the watch list to me is very important.
Okay.
The watch list to me is very important.
All right.